The White House also said they have not ruled out taking more oil tankers. Here's what General Jack Keane said about that.
There certainly is a legal basis for this. The reason is this is a sanctioned ship, the Skipper, and it's been involved in black market distribution of oil out of Iran and now out of Venezuela. So we have a basis to get it, and I think we should continue to do this and squeeze the regime. I mean, this is fundamentally about changing the regime out. The president's been very clear. He would like not to have to use physical force to do it.
Retired Lieutenant Colonel James Carafano joins me now. Sir, Trump seems to be taking Maduro's source of income, taking his money. Is that how we bring him down?
Yeah. Can I do a visual here? Like I called it the anaconda strategy. They're just strangling this guy. And as I understand, there have already been talks with Maduro about leaving the country, but the U.S. turned down the deal that Maduro wanted, according to what I heard. But I think the pressure's just going to keep mounting. And the trick for Trump is he has to get this exactly right. You know, he doesn't believe in the Colin Powell, you break it, you buy it. I mean, the United States is not going to rebuild Venezuela. We're not going to do regime change. But I think he can walk that lane because, you know, this is not Iraq or Afghanistan. In both those situations, you had countries right next door that would throw gasoline on the fire. You know, Iran did everything it could to make us fail in Iraq. But here you have a situation where you actually have a country with great potential wealth, and it's surrounded by countries that would actually like them not to be a narco state. So I think if the Maduro regime leaves, there's a legitimate legal leader to take over. I think the prospects are Trump might pull this off. And honestly, compared to what he's doing in Gaza, this would be a cakewalk.
Okay, change the subject. Ukraine has reportedly handed the U.S. a new 20-point peace plan proposal. But Trump's getting frustrated over the whole thing. Watch this.
Well, there's a meeting on Saturday. We'll see whether or not we attend the meeting. We said we'll attend the meeting if we think there's a good chance of they want me to attend. They want us to attend. And we'll be attending the meeting on Saturday in Europe if we think there's a good chance. And we don't want to waste a lot of time. We think it's negative. Things like this end up in third world wars. And I told that the other day. I said, you know, everybody keeps playing games like this. You'll end up in a third world war. And we don't want to see that happen.
Clearly, the president's frustrated here, but, Colonel, I've said it before and I'll say it again. It appears that Putin is winning. And I'd also say Trump does not like to lose. What say you on this?
Yeah, I don't think Putin is winning. I actually think, look, I mean, we're basically negotiating with ourselves. Putin isn't interested in negotiating. I always said there might be a point where Putin just walks in and says, let's make a deal. And we should always be prepared for that. But the value of this kind of exchange right now between the U.S. and Europeans is at least we're adopting a common vision of where we'd like to see go. I've always described Trump's policy as, I want a free and independent Ukraine that can defend itself, because there's no benefit for us if Putin overruns Europe. But I want the war to end, because that's also good. It's good for Europeans. It's good for us. It's absolutely great for Ukraine. And actually, it's good for Russia. I do disagree that Russia is winning. I mean, this is a classic war of attrition of the kind that's worse, because you have the Chinese feeding the Russian side, but we're still feeding us and the Europeans are still feeding the Ukraine side. And it's demonstrated that as long as both of us keep the spigot on, nobody can win. This war has shown almost no progress in a year. And I don't see either side turning off the spigot, because that would just let the other side win. And that's bad. And as you pointed out, and this is the key thing for me, Trump does not like to lose. And he is not going to put America's vital interest on the line. So he's, I think, going to force the Europeans and the Ukrainians to continue to do that. But he's not going to hand this over to the Russians, because there's no benefit for us.
But either way, there's no quick solution to this. It's not a Christmas truce. It's not a New Year truce. This goes on for some time to come, right?
Yeah, I lost your audio, so I actually couldn't hear the question.
Okay.
Sorry.
Sorry, I'm out of time. I've got to go to commercial break. But, James, thanks for being with us today.